All right, let's dive in. We're talking about an age built on promises, an era where an oath could change the world, where covenants were sealed in fire and blood, and every single vow, no matter how good it sounded, came with a heavy, heavy price.
It seems like a simple question, right? But the answer? Oh, it ripples through generations, building empires and creating exiles. So how much can one promise truly cost? We're about to see.
To even begin to answer that, our story kicks off with a true test of character, one forged in the aftermath of a brutal war and the spoils that came with it.
So, picture this. The year is 2033 Anno Mundi, year of the world. Abram has just pulled off this incredible victory against 4 kings, even rescued his nephew Lot. He's the hero of the hour. But then, standing before the king of Sodom, he's not facing a sword, he's facing temptation.
And the power in this refusal is just, wow. The king of Sodom is basically offering him the keys to the city, all its wealth. But Abram, he just raises his hand and makes this unshakable vow to the Most High God. He turns it all down, saying his wealth will come from God and God alone. Not even a thread, not a single shoelace. And this isn't just pride, you guys. This is the very foundation of a covenant built on pure faith.
And that test of character, it leads directly to a terrifying divine encounter that's going to seal a promise for all time.
Okay, so this whole ritual is absolutely wild. Let's break it down. First, you get the promise, a son and descendants as endless as the stars. Then, the sacrifice, animals literally sliced in half laid out for this ceremony. As night falls, this deep, terrifying sleep takes over Abram, a horror of great darkness. And in that state, he gets a prophecy. And finally, the seal. A smoking furnace and a burning flame pass right between the pieces. This is a promise sealed not with a handshake, but with a literal fire from another world.
Now, the story pivots. We go from the celebrated hero to a despised outcast. A promise made not in some grand ceremony, but out in the middle of a desolate wilderness. So here's what happened. Sarai, desperate for a child, gives her handmaid Hagar to Abram. But the moment Hagar conceives, this poison of jealousy just floods the household. Sarai treats her so badly that Hagar, pregnant and completely alone, has to run for her life, right into the unforgiving desert.
And right here, at her lowest point, this is the turning point. An angel of the Lord finds her by a well. In the middle of absolute nowhere, a brand new covenant is forged. Her son is to be named Ishmael, which means God hears, because her suffering has been heard, and he will be the father of a nation so huge it can't be counted. You see, this isn't just a rescue. It's the beginning of a whole new people, all starting with one exiled woman.
Okay, let's jump forward about a decade. We're shifting gears from divine promises to an oath broken between mortals, an act that just spirals into this desperate, high-stakes conflict.
So it all starts with a battle. The Tubal lose, and they make this solemn vow. Our daughters will never marry the Chittim. But, oaths like that are fragile. Just 3 years later, the Chittim break that promise and straight up abduct the women. The Tubal, in rage, come back with an army of 10,000 men, and the Chittim are about to be completely wiped out.
Backed into a corner, on the very edge of destruction, the Chittim make an absolutely unthinkable move. They take the children, the kids they had with the stolen Tubal women, and line them up on the high city walls. A human shield. And as the Tubal army gets closer, that one question rings out. And just like that, the war grinds to a halt. Seeing their own flesh and blood, their kids, up on that wall, it makes the fight impossible. A broken oath gets answered with a question that can't be answered.
All right, let's circle back to Abram now, because his journey of covenants is about to hit its most personal and probably its most painful turning point yet. 99. Think about that. He's 99 years old. A whole lifetime has gone by since that first promise. And now Abram, who's about to be renamed Abraham, is given a new, everlasting command. And it's one that's going to change everything.
And this is where the covenant gets physical. It's not just a promise, it's not a ritual with fire anymore. It becomes a permanent mark, a physical sign, a token of flesh that's literally carved on Abraham, his son Ishmael, and every single male in his household. This is the painful, tangible price that's demanded for an eternal promise.
And for our final scene, we're taking a journey to the city of Sodom, where the law itself has been twisted into something truly evil, and where the simple act of being kind is a crime punishable by death.
So get this, the people of Sodom basically made a covenant with cruelty.
They passed a law that made it illegal to help a stranger or feed someone who was hungry. To show any charity at all was to break the law.
But Lot's daughter, Peltith, she just couldn't stand by and watch. She sees a man literally starving to death in the street, and she starts this tiny, secret rebellion. Every day when she'd go to get water, she'd hide bread in her pitcher to give to him. A quiet little act of compassion that was also a capital offense.
Well, the people of Sodom started to wonder how this guy was staying alive, so they watched. 3 men hid themselves, saw Peltith give him the bread, and just like that, her secret was out. She was immediately seized and dragged before the city's corrupt judges.
And the outcome is just sickening. There's no trial, no mercy. For the crime of kindness, for defying their covenant of cruelty, Peltith was sentenced to death. They burned her to ashes right there in the street. The price of her compassion was absolutely everything.
So, from a vow of faith to a pact of pure evil, every single promise we've seen demanded a price, in wealth, in flesh, in blood, and in life itself. Which leaves us with one massive lingering question. When a covenant demands that much sacrifice, who's really being put to the test? Humanity or its gods?